How are we feeling this morning? Pretty good. How were you feeling yesterday when you read the news? Less good? Bad? Not something that happened yesterday, just in general. It feels bad. Okay, so I want to speak this morning about how broken the world feels, and I want to find hope in it together. Because it's bad. And our Torah this morning says something really powerful that it's hard to believe and hard to do. It says, I've put before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life. Simple. And yet, it feels like we are absolutely surrounded by death, by dying, by a spirit of hopelessness and impossibility. And what I want to spend our time this morning really thinking about is how can we shift our focus so that we aren't drowning in a spirit that is not choosing life? How can we get to this place to do what our Torah commands, which is as individuals choose life? There's a verse that is often quoted from Pirkei Avot, from the ethics of our ancestors, which says, it is not your duty to finish the work, neither are you at liberty to neglect it. Usually just that little part is quoted, but I want to read you the whole teaching. Right before, Rabbi Tarfon says, the day is short, the work is plentiful, and the laborers are indolent. The reward is great, and the master of the house is insistent. And Rabbi Tarfon used to say, it is not your duty to finish the work, but neither are you at liberty to neglect it. The reason I want to read this and hear it in its context is because when it's plucked from its context, it feels like the work is literally everything that's broken in the world. And yet, when you hear it, and it's described as the master of the house. Yes, we're talking about God, the master of the universe. And the house is the universe. But at the same time, what if the house is just the house? What if we actually could see our work on a scale that we could understand, on a scale that we could actually tackle? I was reading this week a Devar Torah from a current rabbinical student at JTS, my alma mater, and he made, I thought, such a great observation about doing teshuvah in our day and age. He said, how do we do teshuvah when we can feel how interconnected we are with a global sense of despair, a global sense of disaster, and a global sense of responsibility? How, in a time of war, in a time of environmental crisis, in a time of so many compounding and complicated crises, can I, as an individual, really do repentance, i.e., really take responsibility for whatever my slice of disaster might be? And I think that is a powerful question, because I actually think whether we want to or not, we all feel the intensity of the moment around us, and it might block us from doing a good job at doing our work. If we're pulled into the news cycle, we're constantly berated by a feeling of what is wrong, and it gets in the way of feeling where our own agency is, where we can do good, where we can do better. And so, what I want to think about are two teachings from the Gemara on this question of how we do teshuvah. And one is going to bring this idea of how it feels just in general when there's like a broad sense of responsibility for things out there. It says, one who steals from the masses is obligated to return to the masses. Stealing from the masses is more severe than stealing from just one individual, because when you steal from one individual, you're able to appease them. But when you steal from the masses, you're unable to appease them. and to return their stolen objects. True. When we participate in the world, when we have ramifications for our own actions that go beyond what the individual can track down and make recompense for, that's challenging for doing teshuvah. We should, in fact, take responsibility for what we can, but we can't really track down the impact of, a silly example, using a plastic water bottle. It's seems pretty low stakes. You're not a moral failure. And yet, if you allow yourself to think of what it means to use a plastic water bottle and simply throw it in the trash, you might get stuck in your process of trying to just do a little bit better in this life. The Gemara goes on to teach, charity and tax collectors, their teshuvah is hard. They return stolen objects to the people whom they know, but for all of the rest, they put it towards the public needs. So for tax collectors, for charity, for anyone who is maybe responsible for collecting from the people and might lose track of where the individual got lost along the way, there's a teaching here, which is that anything that you can't track down, anything that you can't perfectly address in your teshuvah, put it towards the public need. Do something for the collective good. Do something good. And this is actually quite a simple Torah to live by. When we can't take perfect responsibility for any and all of the wrong in the world around us, we are not without agency. We actually always, in any given moment, have an opportunity to contribute to the collective good. I can think of 10 opportunities alone in The Voice for ways that you could contribute to the good. There actually is always a way to do something good in our own lives. Right before this teaching about choosing life, about Bacharta B'chayim, this core teaching that we have to choose life in our Torah, some of the most beautiful passages from the whole Torah, in my opinion, are stated, and we heard them chanted this morning. We're told that it is not far away from us. It could be the Torah. The Torah is not far away from us. And what I loved is, back to the teaching of the season, Rabbi Alan Liu, what I loved is that he says, it is actually tshuva, that tshuva is never far away from us. So I want to read you these verses and be thinking about the it as tshuva. Surely this tshuva, which I teach you to do today, is not too baffling for you, nor is it beyond your reach. It is not in the heavens that you should say, who among us can go up to the heavens and get it for us and impart it to us that we may observe it? Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, who among us can cross to the other side of the sea and get it for us and impart it to us that we may observe it? No, the thing, tshuva, it's very close to you, in your mouth and in your heart to observe it. Tshuva is not a process that should look to fix the whole world. Tshuva is a process that should narrow our scope and allow us to look at our own lives at what we want to and can do better with. I want to leave you with a closing thought that I was so moved by. The governor of Utah, Governor Knox, said something that I heard quoted, which was that he was saying, we do a disservice to our young people when we teach them to go and change the world. We shouldn't be teaching people to change the world. We should be teaching them to have an impact in their community on a scale that they can actually understand. And this is really where I want to direct us and our hearts in the season that we look forward to. That we have to do, as Rabbi Tarfon teaches, it is not our duty to finish the work, but we are not at liberty to neglect it. And what the work is for us to define in a scope that we can actually live with. That is choosing life. Choosing life is figuring out where you have agency and doing something about it, not getting piled under a ton of bad information about how bad things are out there. So I hope as we enter into our holidays, I hope as we do this collective work of tshuva together, We can do it in a way that's focused on where we actually can all live and live together. Shabbat Shalom.